Right, hi Mark. Good morning. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, very well, thanks, Michael. Yourself?
Super well this end, thank you. So thanks very much
Good.
for joining me on this Zoom call. Yeah, purpose really. It'd be lovely for you to convey your experience really of what was going on. We obviously worked together during the lockdown period.
Yeah.
Lewis and I working with you and your business partner Russ on helping you transition from business A to business B.
Yes.
And all the turmoil involved within that, as I think a lot of people are hoping to do, essentially, to try and pivot and do that successfully.
Yeah.
And a lot struggling, I guess, to do it on their own and how they
Yeah.
might do it and or not, and trying to stay in the same role or the same job, thinking that there's no other options for them. So I think it'd be lovely for you to kind of maybe touch on some points of, what was the challenge to begin with?
Yeah, happily. So basically, start of lockdown, pretty much, we started having conversations, and then out of the blue, COVID kicked in, which I'm sure for most people was probably some of the strangest times that they've been through. Definitely was for us. We obviously had been in our existing business for a number of years, and ultimately, I think we'd hit a bit of a wall, and we sort of started asking ourselves, are we doing everything we can do? Are we as efficient as we can be? Could we be doing more? How do we bring the business forward? And COVID was one of those times where you had a little time to think. So obviously discussing with you and Lewis, I have to be honest, at first I was ever so slightly skeptical of, it's what are you guys going to bring that I don't already know, and stuff like that. And it was very evident very quickly that actually it was a massive shift in the way that we thought and the way that we viewed everything, really. I think it just cleared our minds a lot more. So, working with you guys, I think the problems that we had were, are we getting the best out of it? Are we doing the best? And then the few small steps that we didn't even realise how simple they would be, but you just don't think about it, then actually opened up our minds and made us think and see things a lot more clearer, and ultimately gave us the confidence to take the leap, and do what we knew deep down was the best thing for us, which was leaving where we were and starting afresh, so to speak, which we've done. We made the leap. It's been the best thing we've ever done. It's been a strange time still, obviously, coming through this, and the market's completely different now. But using the sort of strategies and the tools that you showed us, it's just made things so much easier. And we are where we want to be, where we've always wanted to be. We've now developed a business that is sustainable and flexible. So, hopefully this stuff, the whole COVID thing doesn't happen again, but if it does, we're ready. We've moved into a whole new world of products and service offerings and a new image, which I know is going to give us more clients than we've ever had before. And it's just been a real eye-opener working with you guys. The benefits, not only from a business point of view, but personally as well. I think it's nice when you've got a clearer mind at work, because a lot of us, mainly work focused, then I've been able to shut off a lot better of an evening. And my wife's, I've got 4 weeks left, obviously, till my little girl arrives. So I'm sure I was going to get crazy again when all that happens. But I feel that with the tools and the way things are going now, I'm probably more ready than ever to just embrace that. So yeah, meeting with him was definitely one of the best things that's happened to me. And it's definitely changed. Well, it has changed my life. Just started up a business, and this is it now. So what we've got to do is make it work. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I have to say, it's wonderful to be talking to you now, going from talking via your home location to now your business location.
Yeah.
In fresh new offices and stuff. It's really great to see. So
yeah, thank you.
I guess people watching this might be wondering, what was the process? What did we talk about? How did that happen? Because it can sound, you've made it sound really simple there and kind of straightforward. But if I rewind back to the beginning, with you guys, you were really stuck and kind of confused about what was what, and not certain yet knowing an inkling, if you like, of what needed to happen or put in place, but we're kind of it was a bit sticky. And I guess that process of initially talking as a group of 4 to then us having our one-to-one conversations, if you like, and then bringing it back together, how these things work. So how would you describe, what did you learn? What was the process? How did that work?
I think the process, to be honest, at first, I was stepping into it. Like I said, I probably wasn't ready to embrace anything. And then, you know, so the simple questions you were asking at first, I think that highlighted for me within the first day that, you know, very simple things, you know, so what's the vision? Where are you going to? And every sentence would start with, you know, there just wasn't a clear, precise method. And, you know, if I made it sound easy, it definitely wasn't. You know, we've been talking for days and weeks, and, you know, there was a lot of times where I'm sort of then sitting on my own going, Jesus, like, what is that? You know, there's a lot of figuring out in my own head with some real good questions that are being asked from you and Lewis. I think the process of where you guys broke it down and segmenting things really helped me. And I speak for Russell as well, my business partner, as I know it helped him as well. So the staged process, and then creating the visions that we did, and the simple questions, but actually some of the hardest questions to answer. Where do you want to go? How do you want to go there? What do you want to do? And then to have that, having that, you know, weeks of trying to get a real, you know, clear answer to that was tricky. But when you get there, it was the light bulb moment. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And how, I guess lots of people will be looking for fresh new ideas, or certainly a clear mind and a better perspective. And we may be feeling a bit of overwhelm or stress or uncertainty.
Yeah.
It's rife now, whether you're, you know, got your own business, working for somebody, it's pretty much universal. What would you say to people that might be intrigued then of kind of, well, how do you get a clear mind? How do you get clear on these things? Because anyone can make up a vision, as it were, or come up with something. Yeah, there's one thing of coming up with a story, if you like, and it's quite different to have a perfectly crystallized, clear vision that you can act on and move forward with.
Yeah, I think everyone's always busy being busy, and the real answer is you just need to stop. You just need to stop, and then don't be afraid to wait and think and take your time and just slow it all down. Because when you're going on in the rat race and you're moving at 100 miles an hour, I think that's slowing everything down and taking the time to assess. It's that it's never class it as going backwards, but it's that go backwards to go forwards kind of thing. If you just slow it down, I think that really helped us. And having they felt like calming conversations with you guys, just to have that time to go, just think about it. Think about what you're doing. Think about how you're reacting to it. Think about what your options are, and it just sort of paved the way, I think, for us to, you know, actually have those. I know it's a real cheesy one, but those lit within moments, you go, that's what I need to do, and it just felt like a big tick next to it. So yeah,
it's a fascinating thing that you mentioned that, actually, because I think that was something you said to in one of the calls. You said something along the lines of, "Oh, I know why your company's called that now," or something.
Yeah, literally, it was you lit a fire, and then, you know, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to pretend that these last few months they haven't been easy. It's been, you know, there's been times that have been bloody hard, but when something's worth doing and you know it's the right thing to do, it's all worth it. And you guys did light that fire in us, and we couldn't put it out, so we just had to follow what we knew was right. You know, and you have those, like I say, you know, pregnant wife at the moment, and she was sort of like, what, you're doing what? You know, she's just gone on maternity today, actually. So, you know, I had all those feelings and thoughts in my head going, well, what if it fails? Or God, should I stay where I am? It's, you know, I'm getting paid. What's the problem? But once that light bulb had gone off, and, you know, once that fire was in me, it was I was lying to myself if I thought I could put it out, or I thought I could delay the inevitable. Nothing ventured, nothing gained, I went with. So, but knowing what our vision was, and I think if you run off without that plan, without that clarity, that's just, you know, it's not the wise decision. It may work, but it more than likely won't. But having that clarity and having that almost confidence in your mind when you go and do it, that, you know, this is how we're going to do it. This is our tactics. This is why we're going to do it. It's just lining you up to succeed rather than fail.
Yeah, wonderful. It's great to see actually, because it's evident you just talking about it, you know, that you can tell that it's shining brightly, as it were. You know,
Definitely,
you're
definitely.
really, yeah, going at it with everything, with your energy, passion, enthusiasm, and so on. Is really great to see. So,
Yeah,
I
thank
guess,
you.
in summary, what do you think the future holds then? What's the prospects now?
I think the future's bright because we're excited about what we're doing. I think unless you are passionate about what you're doing, it's always going to be more of a job than a hobby type thing. I know the road will get bumpy, and I know it will, and I'm sure times will change, and your mind, I think, always needs a refresh because again, I'm sure eventually life you end up falling back into the rat race. So I think now I know you guys. Now that we're in touch, now I know the benefits of stopping. Sometimes when when you can't find the answer, you just need to stop. You need to reassess, reevaluate, um, have a little touch up if you like, and then move forward. So I'm excited about the future massively, but I'm now definitely not. I definitely understand that working on yourself is the biggest priority over everything. If you're not on your game, then nothing else is going to be 100%. It's impossible. So yeah, hopefully that
Yeah,
answers
that's
the
a
question.
wonderful message to kind of wrap up on, really, because I think that's what people often don't realise. They look outside themselves to make improvements, or, you know, improve their life, improve their lot, improve their experience. Really, have a better time, more
Yeah,
relaxed, more enjoyment. And it can seem kind of counterintuitive to work on yourself, particularly when there's a minefield of people that are offering things that you can do. How would you say this was different?
in what sense, mate? In the sense
Well,
that
in sense, there's a lot of people saying in the mindset kind of space, if you like, of all the things you
yeah,
need to be doing, from kind of meditate to follow these 10 steps to success,
yeah.
you know, how to get a
I think
bigger
that's I
business.
think that all those things are just it's like anything nowadays. Everyone wants a quick win. They want a quick diet. They want a quick read this book and everything will be all right. It doesn't work like that. Ultimately, your life is the story that you're telling yourself, and unless you inside it, it's a good one, and it's coming from a comfortable place
Mm.
and a content place. More importantly, the decisions you make will either be made on anger or irrational or anything like that. So taking that time to really work on yourself, and it does take time. I think we were very lucky in a sense that I have to say COVID lucky, obviously, but we had that time to really utilize the tools that you've given us because the world had slowed down. Now, I know that next time around that probably won't be the case, but it's made me realize whether the world's going 100 mile an hour, just pump the brakes and then, and really review what you're doing and take the time to work on yourself. And then everything else, you're not quite sure how, but it will just slip into place.
Wonderful. All right. Well, thanks very much for joining me today.
No,
It's been
thank
really
you.
good to chat with you again, as it always. And yeah, look forward to catching up soon.
Brilliant. Thanks very much, Michael.
Thanks, mate.
Cheers, mate.
All done. Right. So if I just